Many congratulations to the top three finishers of the FIA Formula One Chinese Grand Prix. In third place, Sergio Perez. In second place, Lando Norris. And taking his 58th win in Formula One and his first here in China, the winner, Max Verstappen. Max, very well done. A dominant performance by you again, following your win in the sprint yesterday. Just sum up the feeling you get from a weekend like this.
Yeah, it's a great feeling, of course. You never know when you enter the weekend how it's going to go fully. Sprint weekend normally always a bit more chaotic, so you always want it to go really well, but then it did go really well. So then, of course, yeah, very, very pleased, but also the performance, I think, now in the main race, the car was, I think, an improvement compared to the sprint race even. So it just made my life a bit easier as well, a bit more, could be a little bit more consistent while driving.
Was it a complicated race from inside the cockpit with all the safety car restarts?
No, not complicated. It was just a bit, just took a long time, I found, to get the first car cleared. And then I felt like we drove one more lap behind the safety car for nothing. So I was like, yeah, come on, speed up a bit. Then, of course, we had another safety car. For me, it felt, again, that they took a long time to clear because you want to race, right? And actually then I thought that because of the two safety cars, it made it a little bit less fun because you would have seen probably more different strategies between the cars. And now everyone was just driving it more or less to the end, except I think Fernando was on a soft. But made it, I guess, a little bit more straightforward. So that was a bit of a shame, I guess.
Max, you say your car was an improvement from the sprint. Were there any dramas at all for you in that race?
I locked up in the second restart into 6, I think, a little bit. So I was like, that was not ideal. Then I threw a tear off away, which I think I could hear on the intake. It was flapping around, hitting my helmet. So I don't know where it ended up. And with 2 laps to go, I think I drove over a little bit of debris before turn 14. So then a little bit scary because, with all the tires, it's easy to have a puncture at high speed when you drive over carbon. That was it, I think.
Of all the wins you've had this year, from everything you're saying, do you feel this was the most dominant?
It was a good one, yeah. In terms of just also balance in the car, where, we did a good job as a team to make it even better than what it was at the start of the weekend.
Any reason why it should be anything but the same in Miami in 2 weeks' time?
It's a completely different track. Different tires, different tarmac. So you never know. We need to be perfect. We need to try and be perfect. We need to always try and find the best setup on the car, to be able to show performances like we did today. So that's what we'll try to do. But also, on the other hand, I don't want to think about it too much now. First want to go home. And then, we prepare like we always do. And hopefully that's good enough, when we get there.
All right. Very well done, Max. Very impressive. Lando, let's come to you next. Many congratulations. Your best result of the year so far. Was this the best the car has felt?
No, probably not. Big improvement today comparing to yesterday. So I think that's why we were probably a bit surprised. I'm surprised to be sitting here today, but it's a nice surprise, of course. So difficult to say. We've been struggling a little bit. I'm sure everyone does, but with certain things throughout the whole season, which have always been limiting us. Probably felt similar-ish to Australia. Australia, I felt comfortable, and the car felt pretty good as well. So just much better today. Things came alive today. The conditions cooled down. The wind calmed down. And both of these things, I think, played into our hands a little bit more. So, that's why yesterday, if you asked me what do we expect for today, it definitely was nowhere near top 3 or even maybe top 5, So a pleasant surprise. And, the car felt much better. But obviously not quick enough to match the Red Bulls.
You say pleasant surprise, Lando. Coming into the weekend, you weren't confident. What changed?
Nothing. we were not. I don't know. I don't know. What did change? We were just quicker than we thought. That's the limitations, the places we expected to struggle probably a lot more. We didn't struggle as much in. So these longer corners like turn 1 have always been a big weakness for us. And part of turn 1 was probably better than we were expecting. And like the second part was probably as we were expecting. So it's just, we're still learning about the car. It's as simple as that. This track's very different. The tarmac's quite odd. Maybe that played into our hands a bit more than we were thinking. Maybe with the old tarmac, we would have struggled a bit more. So just little things, you know, we're not making it up. We're giving our honest opinion on where we're going to be. I think if we were to go into a weekend and we knew we were going to be strong, we've said it. So more often than not, we don't feel that optimistic because all year we've been behind Red Bull. All year we've been behind Ferrari. There's no reason for us to suddenly think we should be ahead. But yeah, nothing really pointed to us having an amazing race today, especially the sprint race yesterday, which was our best kind of version of events of what can go down. But things just went to plan and kind of went very smoothly from lap 1 onwards. You know, I didn't make a mistake in turn 1 and go off. It's a good start. And got past the Aston and can just control the race. And that was very different to yesterday.
A couple of moments I wanted to ask you about. First, what were you thinking in the middle of the race when the VSC came out just after you passed the pit lane entry?
I knew it. Yeah, there was a few F words and S words and so on. I knew it because it was obvious it was going to be a VSC, but it just didn't come out. So I'm like, I bet it's going to... I was saying to myself, I was like, I bet it's going to come out as soon as I go around the last corner. And it literally did. So even my engineer said it. I said it to him. Luckily, it stayed out a long time. And then it obviously went to safety car. So was good. I think our strategy worked out well. I felt confident in this first stint, so I could go a very long time. If the VSC went out before I got round to the pit lane, I would have been a lot more annoyed than I am right now. But yeah, things obviously went our way for sure because it made the Red Bulls have to stop again. And that obviously put me ahead of Checo, put the Ferrari in between us. And that probably saved me a little bit.
Talk us through the battle with Checo in those last 17 laps. Were you surprised he didn't get closer?
Hard to say. I think it's a track where when you're in control and you can manage things, it can really be on your favor. And I think that's where the race was so different for us yesterday. You know, I was behind the whole pack. You overheat your tires, you just struggle. It's not a lot you can do. And today I could control things on my own. I could break away from Charles very quickly, and then Charles was holding up Checo a lot. And Checo probably had to use a lot of his tires to try and get past him. So yeah, it depends how you think of it. I probably maybe expected a bit more of a battle, but then when I know how much he pushed in the beginning to pass the Ferrari, it allowed me to be a bit more comfortable, which was a nice thing.
All right, very well done today. Thank you, Lando. Checo, can we start with that, actually, those last 17 laps and the battle you had with the Ferrari? Did you think you could take the fight to Lando?
At that point, the gap was already quite big, and given how good that his pace was on the first stint in terms of degradation, I knew it was going to be close. But once we basically had the same pace, and once you go by the car ahead and you start fighting for, I don't know how many laps we end up fighting between Charles and myself, then it's really game over. You use so much of your tire, you put so much energy into them that they never really come back. It's quite a high-deck place, and I paid the price, you know, but that was the only way I could get by Charles, because we were obviously at the same age tires, and it was really difficult to get by Charles.
It seemed that you were on the back foot throughout this Grand Prix, right from the start when Fernando Alonso got past. Yeah,
I obviously was on the inside of Max and had to brake earlier, and Fernando was on the outside. My start wasn't that good, so yeah, that meant that I lost a place to Fernando, and again I had to fight quite hard to get by him. Probably used a little bit too much my tires, and that put me definitely in the back foot for the first stint. So yeah, it wasn't a straightforward race, but I also feel like we went in the opposite way with the changes we made from the sprint event into the race. I felt like we probably took a little bit of a back step.
Except you weren't that happy with the performance of the car in the sprint either.
Well, I think I was just basically fighting, you know, with in the pack. Once you are in the pack, it's so hard to get a read from what the balance actually does. When you have 2-3 cars ahead of you, you have a lot less load in your car, so it's really hard to know where your balance is at. It's just the limitations that I had today that probably it's something we gotta review to see what the directions we've taken to see what we could have done better.
Checo, many thanks for that. Let's open this to the floor. Do we have any questions today? Yes, we do.
Yeah. To all of you, may I ask you your general opinion about this return in China? What about the track? What about the atmosphere? And what about this new sprint format? Any positive, any negative? What is your general opinion? Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, this track has always been nice. I've always enjoyed driving here. It's quite technical, deck, involved. So it does make it, I think, always a special Grand Prix, fun Grand Prix. Fans are great, big grandstand, so the atmosphere is great. So it's always very nice to be here. Sprint format was better, I think. A bit more straightforward, I would say. But yeah, let's not overdo it as well, because we're already doing 24 races a year, 6 of these sprint events as well. I get it. I mean, I guess it sells better numbers on TV. But it's also more stress on the mechanics and everything to get everything in, basically every time tip top. So we take it. I mean, we have to deal with it. But let's not think that now we need 12 of those, because it will take its toll on people as well.
Not a lot more to add, honestly. Probably a better layout than last year for sure. The track. It's my first time finishing a race here, so it feels good. But I agree with Max. To be honest, I'd always prefer the old, original race format. This was what I've grown up watching. It's what I've always liked the most. I do like kind of just going in and having the pressure straight away. So the fact of having, one practice straight into qualifying, I do like it. I think it gives people less chance to just get the car perfect, and I think that's when you just start to see team rather than, a mix. So I do think it works from that perspective. But the main point is just the toll it has on mechanics and engineers. I don't think it's too bad for us as drivers, honestly. I don't think we can be the ones to complain at all. It's the hundreds of mechanics and engineers that we have here that have to travel so much. It's not healthy for them. It is not sustainable. So the problem is not with us. So it's not something you should be asking us. It's something that people should look out more for the rest of the team. And I think that's a limiting factor, not the fact of can we go in the car every day, because I think we can, but not doing too much for them, I think, is the priority.
What about the fans, Lando? Were there many Lando Norris banners in the grandstand?
There was a couple. Really?
A lot of girls were supporting Lando, yeah. Lando.
I'm not surprised, but I didn't notice that, to be honest with you. So you got a good eye, Max. But I was looking at the track. But the fans they've been always good here, they're passionate. There was a lot of them. Obviously, the support Joe gets here is beautiful to see at the same time. So hopefully after this year I've got a few more, and it's only my second time here. So again, next year, maybe even more.
I think it's a good point from Lando and Max. We really have to look after with 24 races, the amount of stress it puts these sprint events to our mechanics is quite large. And I think as a sport, we really have to look after our people, our mechanics, because it's definitely on the limit. I think that's a point to consider. I think the atmosphere has been great. It's been great to be back in China after so many years and see all the fans so exciting, and obviously with the show up there was really nice to see the first Chinese driver in the grid. So the support he got was really nice to see.
Thanks all. Any more? Yep.
Hello, I'm Fang Hongbo from Thailand Press, which is a Chinese financial media, and I have a question for Max. And the question is, this is your first time winning the Chinese Grand Prix, and how's your feeling now? And were there any particular tense or exciting moments for you during today's race that you could share with us? Thank you.
Yeah, this was definitely one that I wanted to win. You know, I've been on the podium here, but haven't won here before. So that was great for sure. And yeah, I mean, I definitely just enjoyed the whole weekend. It's been really nice with a great car. Throughout the race, yeah, I mean, with the safety car and stuff, as always, you know, things that you have to do well, the restarts and stuff. I guess there are tense moments, the actual start, of course. And after that, yeah, it's just, you know, management race, looking after your tires, trying to, of course, extend the gap. So yeah. Busy enough, but also enjoyable.
Thank you, Max. Yes, any more questions? Any more? No more? In which case, we will leave it there. Very well done, guys. See